Throws the pick, and Gilmore comes up with it.
The Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Brady under center, gives to Michelle, runs it left, a dive to the end zone. Touchdown Patriots. Michelle for 6.
That's the offense I know. That's the offense we love.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are on the road against the Buffalo Bills.
James White tucks it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line. A touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
Let's get it going here. Patriots pregame fueled by Dunkin, Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, everybody involved with the show today. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. And I mean, like, you know, the Mats and everyone on the video side. Thank you for coming to work. Not everybody goes to work anymore.
No.
Or all the time. Have you noticed that? Some people just don't show up for work.
They just don't come.
I don't know. I don't know how you get away with that, but some people do.
No.
Perillo's here. You ready to go, Paul?
I'm ready to go.
It's going to be windy in Buffalo tonight. Have you heard any reports about the wind in Buffalo?
You know, I was just
No.
checking Twitter, and it would seem that there's a possibility for some weather in Orchard Park.
So like a little rain or.
Okay, so
Oh, there it is, Mike Reese.
Yeah, evidently
worse now.
every person who is covering this game tonight for the Patriots has submitted something similar to what Mike Reese just did, and it's just it's a mess. I mean, it's windy. The winds, I think Zoe was talking on your station, Hardy, that, you know, they were saying 25 or 30, but he says it's significantly more than that, closer to 40 or 50.
yeah, the chief engineer of the Sports Hub, his name is Dennis Knudsen.
Yeah, I know Dennis.
Okay, he put a video up, then it's on our Instagram right now, of the goalposts. Just, I mean, to the point where I wonder, at what point would a game be called for wind?
I don't think that they would do it.
That's a good question.
I
And
think-
people have to be blowing away,
I think it would have to involve some sort of lightning for them to call a game off or postpone it in some way, or if it was just a ridiculous blizzard. And now it becomes a safety hazard for the people getting to the game.
Yeah, which they did once in Kansas City a couple of years
Right.
ago. I remember
Right.
that. They, postponed it or something. I mean, there was one game, I think, called years ago, Deuce, before you were born.
So you're just talking to me now?
It's just me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only 45.
For volcanic ash. I believe it was like a Seahawks game or something that got called.
Yeah.
Because of Mount St.
Mount St.
Helens.
Helen.
I had some ash from that.
Oh, so you know what?
My uncle lived in Oregon. He sent me some ash. From
Yeah,
it.
we got some too from somebody. Like,
Is it worth anything? Probably not.
Story, Hansel.
Thank you. I deserve that.
You know something, Morel? Here's the thing with Matt.
I got an itchy trigger finger tonight, Morel.
No, he's in charge. He's the boss, all that stuff. But we're all on edge tonight. You understand? It's a primetime game. We've all worked already today. We're going to be working late tonight. We're already a little stressed about how tired and how.
I think it's just because you're worried that your boy Nick Folk might not make the good list tonight.
Yeah,
With this
I
win,
told
like,
right
I think
right before we came on air, I wanted to let Hardy know I need him to pay really close attention to the game tonight because I want you to be able to participate in the good list. And there's a chance, not that I would say that by any stretch that Nick Folk will be on the bad list because I don't think he will be. But I'm just wondering if Bill Belichick doesn't allow him to kick, if you can still then put him on the good list.
Okay, but you didn't say that. You said
That's what I mean.
No, you said I had to pay close attention to Twitter, which I thought was an odd way of saying it.
No, I said someone makes a good point on Twitter. You need to pay close attention to the game tonight.
I thought
that was my part.
I thought you were saying was what you were saying was it wouldn't matter, Hardy, if you even paid close attention to the game. You need somebody on Twitter to tell you what to think.
No. I just want you.
Not unfair. Not really. I'm very easily influenced and swayed. If I see somebody who has a good point on Twitter, I'm like, I'm going to take that for my own.
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. I just meant usually you just sort of you have your Nick Folk in your pocket right here.
Yeah.
And then you let Mike and I talk, and then all of a sudden we move on to the bad list.
And we just leave that one for
And
you.
we just leave that one. Yeah, neither one of us ever takes
Did
Nick
you
Folk.
hear the Buffalo media? They got on the Bill call on I think it was Friday, and they were brought up Nick Folk and were like, we know Nick Folk, he struggles in high win situations. Like, they were bringing up Nick Folk from like 10 years ago, and it felt uncalled for. Like, they were insulting Nick Folk. Like, do you know who Nick Folk is as a Patriot? The guy barely misses for us, but what are you bringing up the past for?
But Nick Folk, everybody.
Right.
I feel like, just 5 minutes into the show, there have been many peeks behind the curtain already. Morrell thinks we're all soft. Not unfair. You guys do the heavy lifting on the pre and the post.
And you just throw Nick Folk on the...
And I show up, I throw on Nick Folk, and then I say, who got injured? I saw a couple of guys laying on the ground out there. Did you happen to catch their numbers?
Drop a couple calls, call it a night. You're good.
Yeah, right? So I feel I've been exposed in multiple ways here today.
So with that said, why don't we just go home now?
Right.
Yeah. No, we can't. We have...
You're not done. You can't go home till you're
We're
done.
not done.
Elena Getzenberg of the Buffalo Bills ESPN outlet.
Okay.
Okay. That'll be our Behind the Enemy Lines guest. Did I pronounce the name correctly there? All right. So we have that. And we also have, over-unders to get to. We will only have the one pack for the games tonight, I'm assuming, unless we're going to go ahead. I mean, we could pick
I can't
games
make
for
up
this
any
weekend.
ground on Hardy tonight. It's too
Yeah,
bad.
we could.
Well, you could make up a little bit of ground.
No significant ground.
So other than that, take your time. When you're calling in tonight to the show, 855-PATS-500, stretch it out. Take as much time as you need because, we don't have the normal time fillers. We do, however, have to get to the keys to the game.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now, just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, and Mike's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
You have the key to the game. You have the right one.
Keys to the game, and let me tell you something. We just saw a shot of the field from a few minutes ago, courtesy of Mike Reese. There's no one out there warming up. They're not going to be out there. Everybody's in the locker room right now listening to the keys to the game.
That's right.
Which
is good, because now they'll know what to do.
Now they'll know what to do. And we'll know what we said last week when Morrell asked us for our keys to the game. Or did you ask over the weekend? I forget when you asked, man.
Don't you remember our rhyming session?
Oh my God,
yeah,
we
you
were
did really well.
spitting fire, dropping rhymes.
You.
Well, what can I say? It was a rap battle between me and Morrell. All right, keys to the game.
Mike and I contributed.
I don't rhyme.
I don't believe in rhyming. I don't care for it. Mike Dussault, you were up first. Your key to the
boy.
game for tonight.
Yeah, well, when Matt asked us earlier this week, I was saying take away the big play, and I think the weather's going to accomplish that for us today. So I'm going to tack a little bit from mine, and it's just going to be mental toughness, I think, is what I'm just going to go with, which is I just think this is one of those games. It's going to be in the weather. It's not really going to be a game where we learn about either one of these teams or how they actually stack up. It's just going to be about what team can deal with the conditions. I think the Patriots, get a little bit of a boost in terms of their run game. I do think that if they are able to throw the ball a little bit, that might favor the Bills slightly as well, just because of the experience, because of Josh Allen's arm strength. But I just think that this game, the way it's shaping up, it's just going to be whichever team is mentally tough, doesn't turn the ball over, is able to, just somehow find a way to squeak it out today, will be the team that wins. It's tough. You wanted this to be a big primetime matchup of two teams, top teams in the AFC. Find out what they're all about. It's going to be a weather game.
Take away the big play. That was your big rhyme, and for that initial, it changes. It changes with the conditions on the field tonight. Like
literally,
how can there be a big play?
The ball's going to blow into the stands and try to throw it deep.
If somebody busts through the line and gets through
tackle.
the
you have to tackle. Make sure you're not allowing big chunk plays.
Right. If a runner gets past the linebackers, McCourty make the tackle. Something like that. That's
just all those things. The fundamentals. Don't turn it over. Tackle. Don't make the big mistakes and just be mentally strong. I think that's what they got to do tonight. But it's one of those unfortunate games. You wanted more out of it, but it is what it is. And in a few weeks, hopefully they'll have a rematch where they can actually see the two teams go against each other with what they do in normal conditions.
All right. Paul, your key to the game.
My rhyme, before the weather came into play as well, was to make Allen pay for not throwing it away. And the reason I say that is because I think that's where a lot of mistakes come from Josh Allen. He tries to extend plays. He doesn't get sacked very often. And on surface, you would say, well, that's a really good job. He's recognizing the pressure. He's getting rid of the ball. He's doing, he's I think he's only been sacked 17 times all season, second fewest behind Tom Brady in the whole league. But I don't think that tells the whole story, because I do think that he makes some bad plays when under pressure. He doesn't get sacked a lot because he refuses to just take the sack. Sometimes you have to pull the plug on the play. He doesn't. And I think one of the things that I felt, and this could still be in play even with the weather, because these guys, they are going to attempt passes tonight. I've never seen an NFL game where there's been no passes attempted. So I think that there's still times where they can get in the backfield, get after Allen, and maybe force him to try to do too much. And with these kinds of conditions, you could take the ball away that way, set up a short field, and that can go a long way to victory.
Yep. Matt had started this off by saying, keys, please, those are my needs to do my J-O-B. So I said the keys, if you please, to bring the Bills to their knees are as easy to follow as 1, 2, 3.
This is when Mike and I decided to just hang out with football people.
And then Morel's got much better flow. I'm more of a sing-songy 80s rapper, my rhyme structure is very
Dr. Seuss.
I thought you guys
Exactly.
were both pretty impressive. I have
Like the complex lyricism.
Yeah,
you do.
And Matt flows. He's like, and Paul's like, geez, brother, you done? No, I'm not done. Just starting to have fun. Mother effing Pats better run. Rediscover the run. That isn't. Now, again, a few days ago, that made sense. Tonight, it's obvious. Well, no kidding. Yeah. They got to rediscover the run. They got away from the run for whatever reason. They weren't able to run the balls effectively in the last game. They're going to need to. I thought they would need to just period in order to beat the Bills tonight. Tonight, based on the conditions, boys, what we have is an opportunity to run the ball effectively. You're going to have to. Sure. If you want to get the ball downfield at all, if you want to score any points tonight, you got to run. You have to run the ball tonight.
Yeah, be physical. Use those running backs. I mean, I think that's where, like we said, I think with the weather, there are some factors for both teams, I think, to consider. But overall, just if the Patriots are able to run the ball, maybe put Onwenu over there next to Trent Brown, Jakob Johnson, power, heavy sets, run right at the Bills, and, and see if you can push them around a little bit and get some yards on the ground. And, again, though, you go back to, like, the Patriots early in the season. What were they doing that kind of killed them? Turnovers, and those are the things that worry me a little bit tonight. Are some of those problems going to pop back up just because of the environment, because of the weather? That, to me, would be kind of the disappointing backslide. If they go head-to-head and it's kind of even with the mistakes and all that. But I just hope the Patriots don't backslide to those things that they did earlier in the season that really affected a lot of those games when they were turning the ball over a ton. The takeaways have been such a huge part of this win streak. It's really affected so many of the games dramatically, I think. And, I think you lose sight of maybe a little bit of who they really are straight up. And maybe tonight we find out a little bit. But, again, it's that level playing field of the rain. And
right. It's hard to imagine this game being played, crisply on both sides. No mistakes, no turnovers. You got to think that there'll be the possibilities for some takeaways, and I think it's when they come and where they come on the field. Taking points off the board for one team, putting it on when you turn it over deep in your own territory. I think, it certainly looks like it's going to be a tough night to drive the ball consistently down the field, because I don't think you're going to be able to pick up a lot of third and longs in these kinds of conditions. I'm not telling you won't be able to throw the ball down the field, because I think you will be able to, but I don't think you want to do that when you have to. In other words,
they know you have to.
Right. In other words, you run for 5, you run for 6, you run for 5, then you take a shot. You maybe you throw a 15-yard out or a 20-yard crosser or something like that. I don't think you want to be dropping back 3rd and 11. We're going to throw a 15-yard out at the sticks. And, J.C. Jackson's not going to be there to pick it off, Yeah. We'll just hope that he's not there. I don't think that's a great way to go about business tonight for both offenses.
Yeah, and it's tough for Buffalo because we talked about this week and, diving into it. They love to throw the ball. Early downs, it's just I feel like it's such a key part of their attack. And, if they're kind of reduced to having to play the way the Patriots like to play, which is they're fine to run with a fullback early downs and, just kind of ground and pound it. I don't think they have a problem doing that. And I think they have the depth and the personnel to do it. But I think in that regard, if the weather maintains that, Buffalo, they're going to be taken, I think, a little bit more out of their offensive comfort zone.
I don't think there's any doubt.
But, I mean, I will say that they've got, the talented receivers. How do you get those guys involved? Like, how do you get Diggs involved in this game and make him have a real impact? Beasley, they're such a key part of their offense. It can't be all Josh Allen dropping back, tuck, and run, and that's most of their offense, they're going to have to hand the ball
if
off.
If I were
and
Buffalo, I'd make
run
it a big Beasley game.
Yeah, keep them close.
A lot of short stuff. I think back to the game in 2008. I think we'll want to go behind enemy lines first.
Yeah.
I'll hold my thought on 2008.
Would you?
I think we're going to have a lot of 2008 talk moving forward in this show.
I think you're probably right. But let's go behind enemy lines. Here we go.
You know the view from New England.
We go behind enemy lines.
But what about the view from the other side?
Well, I'm doing great, even though I miss being there with you guys.
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
Joining us now from ESPN Buffalo, Elena Getzenberg, formerly of the Charlotte Observer. Congratulations on the new gig, Elena. How's it going?
Thank you so much. It's good. It's nice with the weather. Was a little better here, but good overall. Thanks for having me on.
Weather
not just like Charlotte?
Also, not the winds. We're quite like this in Charlotte.
Is it windy there? I haven't seen anything online about the wind.
We're in a nice, comfy studio here in Foxborough.
Yeah, what is this about wind? I haven't heard anything about it.
It's pretty nuts.
Hey, Lena, so obviously the weather, how do you see the Bills' kind of passing offense being affected by it? And, what do you think they kind of do with the running game to, maybe offset some of this, what's going to take away maybe some of the deep passing game that's such a big part of their offense?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think they're still going to, this is Josh Allen's offense kind of. It all runs through him. So I do think they're definitely going to still try and throw the ball a lot. That'll still be the emphasis. But Matt Breida was successful some last week. They got Devin Singletary going some, so I think they'll try and do that again. I also wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Josh Allen running around a lot, but they're still definitely going to try and throw the ball despite the weather.
Elena, I wanted to get your thoughts because a lot of people, when they see weather games like this, they automatically say that's an edge for the Patriots. This is the kind of weather they play in all the time, and they can adapt to whatever conditions that present themselves with Bill Belichick. Do you feel like Buffalo is maybe undersold in that sort of mental toughness department, or do you feel like this is an edge for the Patriots?
No, I think it would say kind of, to me at least, and I'm new to this rivalry, but I would say, or whatever you want to call it, I think it kind of evens out for both sides to me. I think they both, the Bills have no shortage of experience. They've been practicing in these wins. So to me, I think it kind of evens out. I think it'll impact both sides pretty equally to me. I think they're both experienced in the snow, and they're both experienced enough in the wind. So.
Last week, Stephon Diggs said that there are 100 ways to milk a cow. Did you ever figure out what he was talking about?
So the final analysis of that lovely statement was that first he said it was an old saying that people used to say, and then as he was walking away from his press conference, he muttered to a couple of us that he made it up on the spot. So,
there it is.
I can let you know that is not really a saying, and that is definitely something that just came out of his mouth. He's a pretty entertaining, someone to listen to. But that was a top 5 for sure.
Sure.
Lena, you got Star Lotulelei back, if I hit that one right. What kind of impact can he have against the Patriots' run game tonight?
Yeah, he's huge for this defense. I don't think you can really, he's been so missing for them up front. He's one of their bigger guys up there. He helps Ed Oliver out a lot, and I think he'll be big for them. Basically, he's, the veteran presence that they need up front. He's been one of their best run defenders this year, and they've really missed him. So I think him coming back is pretty big. But Ed Oliver has been having a great season for the Bills up front, probably his best yet. So Star being back is big, but it's almost as big for Ed Oliver, helping him out, taking some of the attention away up front.
If this game comes down to which team can run the ball and stop the other one from running it the most, who wins in that kind of a scenario?
I think the Patriots win. If there's one thing that has been a theme for the Bills this season, it has been not being able to consistently establish the running game. It's hurt them multiple times, and if the Patriots' rushing offense gets going, that's been the Bills' defense kryptonite. Against the Colts, against the Titans, that was the biggest issue, and they lost both of those games. And I think if the Patriots can really get that going, that's going to be a problem for the Bills.
All right, Elena, we always ask our Behind the Enemy Lines guest to give us a score prediction. Do you have one for the game tonight?
I do. I upset some Bills fans with my prediction. But my final, I think, what was my final score? I think it was 24-23 Patriots. So
okay.
I think it'll be a very close game either way. I think the defenses are going to take over a bit, especially in the weather, but I think the Patriots might get this one.
All right. And I saw earlier that you tweeted that you and Mike Reese almost blew away. I don't want that to happen to either one of you, but, for Mike, we really like him, so just keep an eye on him tonight, please.
Take care of my boy. He's small. He'll blow away in this wind. Take care of him.
He will.
We're both very small, so it was an issue for both of us, but everyone's here in the press box safe and sound, but I will definitely keep an eye out.
Did your phone really blow out of your hand?
It absolutely did, yes.
Oh, my God.
But it has been recovered with no scrape.
Okay, all right, good. Elena Getzenberg, thank you so much. We appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Okay. There we go. Elena Getzenberg there covers the Buffalo Bills for ESPN. She was perfectly pleasant.
Yes, she was. And I think that she sort of feels the way a lot of us do in terms of that sort of mindset. Patriots have been there and done that when having to say, you know what? This game isn't going to be about scheme. It's not going to be about game plan. It's not going to be about talent. It's going to be about will. It's going to be about mindset. And I think the Patriots have proven throughout the entirety of the Belichick regime, but even this year with Mac Jones, a new quarterback, they are a mentally tough outfit.
Yeah.
And I feel like these are some shots that we're seeing right now, by the way, on NBC Sports Boston from that 2008 game. And it remains one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. You just absolutely could not kick the ball or do anything in these conditions. The goalposts were moving all over the place. It was ugly. And I think this game tonight, based on the way they're talking, could wind up being similar.
Do you have, Paul, the question I'm just kind of thinking about, and Elena mentioned, I mentioned it too, just Josh Allen running. Does that concern you at all more in the weather? Like doing that a style of putting more of a load on him?
Yeah, because I do think if they need to just okay, we got to scrap 75% of our playbook tonight, and we just got to go old school, and we got to run. Wouldn't you think it would help more to have an extra guy to run without having to do anything? So you don't have to line up Damian Harris and the Wildcat, which the Patriots have done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we can just do that with our quarterback. And have him run. But I don't think Buffalo wants to do that. To me, this is going to come down to, does Brian Daboll take a page out of Bill Belichick's playbook and figure out a way to do it differently?
Yeah.
If he does that and Buffalo is able to do that without making a lot of mistakes, they can win. If not, I think it's going to be awfully hard in these conditions to just play the way, quote-unquote, they normally play.
All right, let's go to the phones here, 855-PATS-500. You're welcome to join us here. We'll start first with Pat in Agawam, who's been holding since the start of the show. Pat, apologize for making you wait, but, we have our business to take care of. You are up first, though, my man. What's going on?
Hey, no worries, Hardy.
Good to hear from you. What's going on? What's the plan for the game tonight? What's the watching situation?
I'm going to be watching it in my newly renovated man cave.
Oh, I'm not a fan of the phrase "man cave," but I'm still happy for you. What do you mean by renovation? Did you take down the Cheryl Tiegs poster and put one up of Kathy Ireland? What happened?
He modernized it. It's J-Lo now.
It's actually Elle McPherson.
Elle McPherson. There we go.
So I wanted to give a few shout-outs to start off, Hardy. Number one, shout-out to your Detroit Lions. Got their first one at the
Listen,
I was happy for you.
I was happy for myself. I would say disproportionately happy. I was really the amount of happiness I felt at that was really kind of silly for a team to go to 1-10-1, but you don't want them to be winless. And the way that game ended, it was not pretty. Looking back on it and thinking about it, they moved it down the field, but my God, they couldn't get it out of bounds. The clock was running. They won it on the only play that they had left to run. It's not like there were a few ticks left on the clock. So,
not a lot of walk-off touchdowns.
Not a lot of walk-off touchdowns, but boy, was that ever one. That was fun. And I have to say, Dan Campbell, for as goofy as he has been at times, after that game, the way he conducted himself, I don't know if you saw this.
I did. I was very impressed.
I did. My dad saw it too. May sound same comment.
No, he goes up to the podium, and for those of you who didn't see it, he says, "This is the game ball. This is for everyone at Oxford High School," and he listed off the names of all of the victims. He mentioned the family, the friends, everybody, and didn't. I believe the guy when he speaks, and sometimes what he says is about biting kneecaps.
Right.
And I'm like, well, at least it's not hyperbole. I truly believe the guy when he talks. And then when asked about the game and he gets into the game stuff, he wasn't crazy over the top about it. I think he had a pretty good analysis of the game and why they won and why he was happy about it.
He struck a nice balance between respect and also, sort of keeping in. It's a football game, and it's kind of one of those things. Like if a football game for 3 hours could allow some people who are dealing with an unspeakable tragedy to just not think about it for 3 hours, and then not only not think about it but be happy for a second when it was over, mission accomplished.
Right.
That's kind of the way I looked at it.
Right.
And I know like sometimes we overplay these things and we make them so dramatic. Like there's a lot of, every time the numbers 2, 8, and 3 come up, Deuce ends up, checking his cash register and making more money off 28-3 merchandise.
Oh, I wish.
This is quote unquote. Obviously I'm just teasing.
No, yeah.
This is real life.
Yeah.
And I agree everything you said about Dan Campbell. I still think he's kind of a buffoon as a football coach.
But he's authentic.
But that was authentic yesterday. And again, he wasn't a blubbering mess. He was respectful, emotional, and by the way, we finally got one.
Yeah.
And that was part of it too.
And
even kneecap off.
Even the way he embraced Goff afterward, it's like Goff came running over to him.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's pretty cool. You don't see the quarterback hugging the head coach all that often, but you feel like with those guys, that's how that locker room operates.
If that was Bill and Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
They never.
Right?
No hugging. No hugging.
Nice throw.
You.
Nice throw.
Oh, all right. So
Tom, we got
good call. Sorry to hijack your call there, Pat. But what else you got?
All right. Just a couple more. A quick shout out to my alma mater, Springfield Central, won the state championship.
Yeah.
And
yes, congrats.
Listener today. His name's Jake Richters. I turned him on to the show, and so I'll throw out my question for you guys. With no Duggar tonight, do you think Jamie Collins? I'm not saying he would take his place, but do you think he could sort of be like an X factor if they do end up throwing the ball, like covering Dawson Knox? Just because he is.
Oh, I don't want him. I don't want him in coverage.
Longer in the tooth.
I don't want Jamie Collins in coverage. I see that corpse of Owen Daniels in that AFC Championship game a few years ago. But I'll tell you, Collins can help out chasing around Josh Allen and being another body up in the front seven to stop the run.
Yep.
That's a good turn of fortune that he was eligible to come back for this game.
Yeah, I think it's significant without Duggar. I mean, leading tackler. I mean, he's in the box. He'd be heavily involved tonight. So. They did elevate Sean Davis, kind of a little bit of a journeyman veteran who's been on the practice squad, so give him a little bit of depth back there. But I think it'll help to have Collins, a little bit extra jolt of athleticism there on the second level. But, yeah, I'm with Paul. I think he's Josh Allen. Go get the quarterback, whether he's passing, whether he's running. Stick him on there. I don't want to see him downfield trying to cover people.
Appreciate it, Pat. Thanks, buddy.
Right.
Enjoy your time in the man cave.
You don't like to say
can we get into that? Not that I disagree with you, but you know me, I'll argue about anything. Yeah. What's your aversion to
this
the
is
term
my room. This is my man cave. This is where I put up my trophies. This is where I put up my signed Chris Chelios jersey because actually a buddy of mine went to high school with him at Chelios. So I played golf with him. Why didn't you? You know what? It's your house. You know what a real man would do? Put his crap wherever he wanted to.
Yeah.
I thought this was going the other way. Continue.
No. It's like, this is the one room I'm allowed to have in my house.
allowed.
Why? Because all the other stuff in your house is pure crap? I got news for you. My wife has a much better eye for making things look nice than I do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so number one, if I were to have a man cave, it would be terrible. It would be awful. Anything in there wouldn't look right. I have an office, and that's the closest thing. By the way, what do you do in a man cave? This is where I go down to watch the game. It's got a real Saturday is for the boys type of feel for it, which is like I guess that's okay if you're 22. But I mean,
or 16, like my son, who actually has a banner. Saturdays are for the
great
boys.
for him. I can appreciate that. But for like anybody who's like in their 40s or even their 30s, and Pat, I love you, buddy. But anybody who's like, I have a man cave. This is for the boys. This is where the boys are.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what you want? No girl. Oh, these stinky girls coming here. The next thing you know, they're going to want to have sex with us. Ooh, gross.
I was up early cutting down trees.
Yeah, it's just like, shut up.
I like she shed. She shed.
I think
menstruation.
I actually thought he.
That's why I told my wife she could use it if she wanted to. Put some candles out there, a couple of magazines. She said no. So I started keeping the mower in there instead.
Go out there for 4 days.
That's going to get us in trouble, isn't it? You think? No.
I thought when you started that rant, it was going to be more like, I'm a modern man, like, who do you think you are? Like, having a spot in your house that your wife can't go into. Like, this is my house, and, everybody in my house can go everywhere they want. Like, it's not like.
No,
But instead it kind of quickly veered off into, if you're a real man, you can go anywhere you want.
Put the 70-inch in the family room and sit down on the couch and watch your game there. That's your man cave, your family room.
Right.
Put whatever. I mean, if you think that looks good.
Yeah.
And how much crap do you need to display? This is what really speaks to me. My Tenacious D poster when I met Jack Black and he and I smoked pot. And like,
I actually think the whole term.
Grinds my gears.
I think the whole term is kind of like not really meant to be literal.
Oh yeah, like an actual cave where the man goes to retreat.
Well, not cave-like, but not. I don't think many people. I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself. I don't think many people have an area of the house that just guys go to.
Yeah, well, it's just
the downstairs bathroom.
It's such a sitcom mentality too. It's like, I go in my man cave because I couldn't convince my wife to let me play golf this last weekend. Grow up.
I like it.
Take control of your life, your man cave. But I'm happy for you, Pat. Enjoy the game.
Love you, mean it. Hey, the Heisman finalists were announced. Anybody care?
Yes.
Who?
Bryce Young,
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, and C.J. Stroud.
I've heard of two of those guys.
Two out of the four. I got 2 out of the 4.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Who are the other 2?
How do you not hear of? I'm not telling you need to be intimately,
Don't care.
knowledgeable. But it's the Alabama quarterback.
I know him.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
Yeah. Know
The
him.
Ohio State quarterback,
Steve's
C.J.
son.
Stroud.
Know him.
The Pitt quarterback, Kenny Pickett.
Never heard of him.
No.
And Michigan defensive end Aiden Hutchinson.
I got
I
that.
guess
Who is not the son of Steve Hutchinson.
I thought you said he was.
Yeah, I did say that. That's why I just said he is not the son. I said that a couple of weeks ago.
That was with me.
Because I did not know until this day that he was not the son.
A giant Hutchinson from Michigan. I mean, it's
yeah,
not
I
a big
found that
leap.
out like in the middle of the week. I saw something. I think Steve
Completely
Hutchinson
plausible.
actually tweeted something out saying this guy is. I'm like, and no, he's not my son or something like that. I'm like, huh? How about that?
How about that?
He's not my son.
Let's grab one more call before we go to break, if we can do that, Matt, because Demetrius has been hanging on a long time there in Sacramento, California. Where
Sacktown.
I believe Nick Cattles is headed out to Sacto to do to do radio in Sacramento. I think I read that on his Twitter feed not long ago.
Like permanently?
Yeah, Demetrius, what's going on?
Oh, Hardy.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Demetrius!
Oh, Tony. Don't say that, Tony. Oh, no. Oh, Tony. I don't know what happened to him. All right, he's gone.
I do. When you're on that board, things don't work.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
Nick Cattles, formerly of Boston and Providence, is headed to California in December. He'll be the new PD and afternoon host at KHTK in Sacramento. There you go.
Well, you guys can look forward to him telling you how all the Boston teams are better than all the rest of the teams in the league. Good luck with that, Sacktown.
Nothing grinds Paul's gears more than someone telling him how good the Patriots are. Wait a second. Who do you?
Nope. An unapologetic homer.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Period. Doesn't Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, whatever.
Nick's got a great knowledge of the leagues in general. I would say specifically football, basketball. He'll be great out there. I bet he knows more about. They still have an NBA team there in Sacramento, the Kings.
The Kings.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. I would say he knows more about the Kings than a lot of Kings fans do. So he'll be great. You'll love him. All right, step aside here. When we return, more Patriots pregame show. which is fueled by Dunkin. I should remind you, it's always game on with Dunkin. Kick off the action with the official coffee of the New England Patriots. It's the most important game day ritual because it's the perfect way to tackle game day. I am enjoying an iced coffee right now. However you're spending game day, do it with Dunkin. We know the best call for football is Dunkin. America runs on Dunkin.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Paul Kaharski time, where you either give us a prediction or you snub us.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. It's Hardy, it's Mike Dussault, it's
Rolling
Paul
right
Perrello.
along for a night game.
Oh, my God, I love this pregame show. It's one of the best we've ever done. I'm going to make that call early on.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
For
We
sure.
got great calls on the line. We've got calls from Australia and
Not sure if you
California.
heard, but weather could be a factor tonight.
No.
Just want to you know how you're supposed to reset?
Yeah, very windy in Buffalo. And it was snowing. There were some flakes swirling around.
Are you a fucking weatherman?
It looks like Mac Jones got a full ski mask on, too, so.
I'm telling you, Morrell, I mean, I know I'll lose, but I'll still roll up. I'll give you all you can handle.
Have some fun.
All right. You pack a lunch, pal. Call some of your Marine buddies because you're going to need them all day. Tell them to block off some time on the calendar, all right? Piss me off again. See what happens. Let's go to Chestnut Hill and talk to Alex, who is with us now on the Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Alex?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. I can hear you.
Hey, I'm a first-time caller. Been listening to the show for about 2 years. It's great, though.
Thanks.
So I think the Patriots I'm honestly shocked they're not favored in this game. I think they're definitely built to win this. This reminds me a lot of the Baltimore Ravens game from I forget which week, but the monsoon game last year where we just ran it and there wasn't much passing. And I feel like this game could go in a similar direction. So honestly, I think the only way they lose is if Mac Jones has a meltdown.
Okay, so I don't know that it's going to require a melt. And Alex, thanks for the call, buddy. Enjoy your time in Chestnut Hill.
Welcome to the show.
I don't know that it's going to require a meltdown from Mac Jones in order for them to lose this game. But I think what it would require is Mac Jones being forced in to do more than what the elements really call for. Like if the Patriots find themselves in a hole and they're unable to run the ball effectively, all right, if he is put in that position, he wouldn't even have to melt down. It's just trying to throw the ball in these conditions. It might look meltdownish, but really the conditions are going to dictate so much of the way this game is played tonight. Yeah. And do you think either quarterback is going to be given, in terms of a game plan, like enough work to do to where they're going to be the reason a game is won or lost?
I mean, I think there'll be a little bit of checking in and out of plays and making sure that you're, running towards the right side and all that. I think that'll be some bit of mental challenge for Mac Jones today. I agree a little bit. I just think, especially on early downs, if they're not getting much on early downs, and like Paul kind of brought up, the third and longs, I think, are just what you really want to avoid tonight. If you can, even if you're only getting 3-4 yards, at least if you're making it manageable and you're staying kind of somewhat on time, I think that'll be a big key for both teams. Instead of just getting
Like
behind the chains and
run pass options on third downs. That's what you want. You want 3rd and 4 or less.
Yep.
So I can maybe get to the perimeter. Especially if you're Buffalo, right? Because you can use Josh Allen's legs. Mac, I think you'll see Mac run a little bit tonight more than normal, but that's obviously not what Patriots want to do. But to answer your question, Hardy, about will they let I don't think it's going to take a meltdown for one team to win or lose. And certainly if Buffalo gets a lead in this game, if the conditions are as bad, and you're looking back that 2008 game, Matt Castle went 6 for 8 for 78 yards. 6 for 8. 8 passes he attempted in the whole game. And they ended up winning that game 13-0. And I feel like if the conditions are as bad as they're saying and you can't throw the ball, it's going to be a 10 or under pass attempts kind of day, and the Patriots fall behind, don't you think Belichick will make sure that Mac Jones doesn't melt down? In other words, if they're down 13-0 and it's apparent we can't throw the ball, I don't think he's going to say, we're down 13-0. We got to let it loose and let him throw 3 picks. I don't think he's going to do that.
It's like when
I think he's going to pull the plug, continue to try to run the ball, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They'll live to fight another day. You don't want Mac Jones to come out of this game tonight in a weather game and have everybody say, the kid from Alabama that grew up in Jacksonville can't play in this weather, and that's what happened. When that's really not what happened. This is not a quote-unquote this is different than just bad weather. This is a weather game where everybody that's ever played the game would be affected throwing the ball in this tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, and, I think back to the Jets game with Zach Wilson and people saying, like, oh, my God, can you imagine if Mac Jones, had a game like that or has a game like that? To your point, Paul, I don't think Belichick or McDaniels would allow him to get to the point where he's on the verge of throwing 4 picks.
The other side, if the Patriots get like a 13-0 lead, I think Dable will, because he knows it's not going to affect Josh Allen. He's been around a little bit, and he knows, hey, it was terrible weather conditions, but we had to do it. We needed to try to win the game. There's definitely more pressure on Buffalo tonight than the Patriots. They're the home team, and the Patriots are on a roll. Buffalo's been the underachievers. The Patriots been the overachievers. So the pressure is on Buffalo tonight. So I think if they fall behind, Brian Dable's not going to say, I can't have Josh Allen throw 4 picks. That could hurt his psyche.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to hurt his psyche. So they'll go hell-bent for leather. But the other way, I think Belichick and McDaniels will not force Mac Jones to do that if it's already gone bad. Maybe you get a couple of fumbles. That's how Buffalo gets the lead. Something like that. Yeah. I don't think they're going to say, hey, Mac, you just couldn't, you got. I know this is a raw deal you got here, but you got to throw it 25 times in the fourth quarter because we got to get back in this game.
Yeah, you talk about, Ramondre Stevenson too, like his ball security, like, all those kind of guys.
His ball security. Who has more fumbles, him or Damian Harris?
Damian Harris.
All right, then.
But still, rookie. I think, and everyone wants to talk about Mac never having played in this stuff. I think he's one to mention too. But I think you're right. I also I want to see the weather, because so many times we talk about it in the pregame, and then you get to the game and you're watching, and you're like, it doesn't really look that bad.
Doesn't seem that bad.
Like that one,
that's why I'm still going to hold out. Yeah,
that you were like, this one is crazy, and this is just not really a football game. This is just going to be who kind of survives. So I do want to see it because they're showing people warm up. We're getting there. We go. We got some shots on. I mean, it looks windy, but again, I think it's just going to be one of those mental toughness kind of games. And if the Bills are able to shut down the Patriots' run game in this kind of situation, when the Patriots, it's really been their bread and butter, you would think this is kind of feeding into this. I mean, if the game was to go the most predictable way, I would say, the Patriots are going to be able to run the ball, and that's Trent Brown and Onwenu and Teddy Karras out in space and getting Wynn loose out there and setting things up for screen games, all that kind of stuff. You would think that should be enough for the Patriots to win it. Now, I don't know how the game's going to go, but I like the Patriots' chances if it is, in fact, a heavy weather game. But if it's not, I think, there's so much buildup. You don't know. Once you get to the game, it might be, it's not quite that bad. Maybe for the kickers, but.
Maybe. I don't know. That's, that is the one thing. There's 2 things that I'm fearful of right now. Number one, that it just ends up being a bad football game. Once you get past the novelty of the weather and the inability to pass the ball, that we're just stuck here on a Monday night watching a bad football game. That's number one. Number 2, I'm a little afraid when I threatened to fight Morrell earlier, he said, and I quote, "We'll have some fun." That's a scary
crazy
thing.
talk.
That's a scary thing to hear from somebody who you're essentially challenging to a fight.
We'll have some fun.
We'll have some fun.
Yeah.
It's like when you were in gym class, like in like high school.
Right.
You remember when you had like shirts and skins,
Ugh.
and there would be like the
Not
one
this
guy,
again.
the oddly athletic kid that wore like jeans.
Yeah.
And it'd be
we
like
talked
skins.
about this before. Yeah.
He'd have jeans on, and he all of a sudden, he'd be going behind his back. He never played an organized sport in his life,
Doesn't matter.
but he just had crazy athleticism, and
banging out pull-ups like boom,
that's
boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like Clint Eastwood going for a jog in any which way but loose, wearing his jeans.
Yeah.
Like what is it with that guy? You don't want to mess with
He's
him.
got like high tops on that aren't tied, and somehow he's just running around everybody. Like
It's
just I don't know.
Like a mouse
without
you know-
any formal training. He's just kicking the crap out of everybody on the floor.
Yeah, like a
That's
mouse
Morrell.
challenges a cat to
Only
a
Morrell
fight.
has formal training.
Yeah, and the cat will say to the mouse, "Yeah, we'll have some fun." Literally, I'll bat you around a little bit and hold my paw down on your tail while you're trying to run away. It'll be fun.
Right. Stop hitting
I
yourself.
take it back. All right, let's go to Spee in Fresno. Spee, you're on the Patriots pregame show. It's fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Spee?
Don't you guys think that Sean McDermott looks kind of like Flea, the bass player from the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Oh yeah.
I wonder if anyone has made that. Let's see. The internet, as we know, is undefeated. So let's see. Let's just Google Sean McDermott and Flea and see if anyone has made that comparison yet.
I'll wait online.
Yeah, you want to hang up and take your answer off the air. I don't see any yet, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Go ahead with your next point, Spee.
So real quick, Spee. Hold on one quick second. The Bills announced their inactives, and I bring it up only because there's two interesting names: Marquez Stevenson and Isaiah McKenzie. Those are two guys that have handled all of their returning for them. McKenzie has been their primary returner. He had a terrible fumble against the Colts, and Stevenson took his place against New Orleans on Thanksgiving night. This tells me that they're thinking, we don't really have much of a need for returns tonight. It's not going to be a thing that we're going to be looking to do. So, and they're also Zach Moss is active, giving them another running back, which is a smart move, I think, by the Bills, because you would think you need all three of those guys plus Josh Allen tonight to run the ball.
David Andrews and
the
Buffalo
Buffalo Bills Facebook page, when they introduced Sean McDermott and posted photos of him, one of the comments is he must be related to Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Who said that?
There you go.
A commenter on the Buffalo Bills Facebook feed. So there you go.
Beautiful.
All right.
I had a couple of questions. I'm going to choose between them for time. Okay, I'll do this one. So with the behind the enemy lines woman who I found, like you guys said, very charming, although I don't think you guys got a score from her.
24-23 Patriots she picked.
I decided not to listen, apparently, at the wrong moment. I just found it interesting. She mentioned the Colts and the Titans running games gave the Bills trouble. Well, those are, I mean, I assume she's meaning the Titans with Derrick Henry. Those are two teams with premier running backs. What I'm trying to say, my bad. They're two teams with premier running backs, and I don't know if we have that level of talent, even if you put the committee together into one big super running back. So are we as scary as those two teams would be on the ground?
I wouldn't think so, but I think all bets are off in a game like this. And I do think that you don't need to have Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry like success. You just need to be better than the other team running it. And I do think the advantage would lie with the Patriots when it comes to Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson going against Devin Singletary and Matt Breida or Zach Moss. Just because I think the Patriots have made more of a commitment during the season. Now, I think Buffalo is somewhat underplayed in terms of their physicality. I think they have a decent offensive line. And they're like 11th in rushing in the league, so it's not like they never run the ball.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the Patriots would have the advantage because I do think that's their mindset. That's how they want to play.
Yep. All right, Spee?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good game. See ya.
All right, see ya. There he goes. Spee in Fresno.
Talk to you in the postgame.
Always checking in. Yeah, we appreciate it. Let's go to Rob in Australia checking in as usual on our pregame show. What's up, Rob? How you doing?
Evening, boys. How are you?
Good day, mate. Hey, Rob.
I just wanted to make a comment and ask a question.
Okay.
So first, the comment kind of goes to you, Hardy, and Paul as well.
Uh-oh.
I really enjoyed watching Washington play yesterday and Taylor Heineke run around, kind of like John Kitna when he was in Detroit. It was.
Hey, Hardy, did you enjoy that? Something tells me Rob enjoyed that era of Lions football a lot more than you did.
Yeah, I was, if you're going to make me rank them, I was a big Gary Danielson guy. What can I say?
I like Gary Danielson.
Freddie Doc Scott.
Eric Hipple.
Not so much with Eric Hipple.
Oh, I liked Eric Hipple.
He was all right.
He was good for a Thanksgiving meltdown every once in a while.
All right, let's move on to something more pleasant.
Yeah. So, a more serious question, and you guys have been talking about the weather. Paul kind of put this in perspective for me a little bit. I'm gonna disregard tonight's game a little bit, but watching last week's game against Tennessee, there were 3 throws in particular: the screen pass, the one that hung up to Jacoby Myers where he got hit by Byard, and the missed pass to Hunter Henry for the touchdown. They all looked like bad, grip on the ball, cold weather, Mac not having the right touch. And so my question is, how many games do we give Mac in colder, weather-type conditions before we make a decision if he's a bad weather quarterback? Because that's going to be
I would say a lot.
I would say more beyond this year. I wouldn't make that determination.
Because you don't know how much of it has to do with physical stuff in bad weather, how much of it he's still learning. Like, I would say let's let him get settled into his career and then get some chances to play in bad weather before we say he can or can't do something. Yeah, it was like the same thing. He threw for 300 yards last week, and everybody's like, well, he checked off a box. Because he played in 35-degree weather, and had one good game, and then some people didn't even think it was a good game. Mike and I were two on an island that had him on the good list. So I just feel like there's such a rush to just say, this is what it is now. I think, to answer your question, Rob, I think Hardy's right. Give him a couple of years.
Yeah.
Get him to the requisite experience, and then sort of weigh it all together and see how it looks.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. So you probably need another couple of years watching him in the cold. Great.
Right.
Looking forward to this real nasty game. I'll call you guys real late in the night. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
Excellent, Rob.
It's one of the nicest things about Paul. One of the reasons why he is one of my favorite people. While he is loath to praise someone too early on in their career for anything like, oh, he's good, he's the best, he's also hesitant to say that somebody sucks too early on.
He's fair.
He's very fair that
he's
way,
fair.
Paul.
Yeah, I know you guys are making fun of me, but that's okay.
I'm not making fun of you.
Patriots inactives don't really have any.
And he's all business.
Ronnie Perkins, Devin Asiasi, Jarrett Stidham, Yasir Durant, Sean Wade, and Jelani
Tavai.
So those are your inactives. Obviously, the most important inactive tonight for the Patriots is not included in that, and that's Kyle Duggar, who is on the COVID list. So therefore, he does not count on the roster. And did you mention the guys that got promoted?
I did. I mentioned Sean Davis as one of them, and then the other on the other side, Daniel Akwale, defensive lineman,
who had a sack earlier in the season.
Yeah,
when he got promoted.
He got elevated once.
I know we talked about Jamie Collins.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess not really surprising, Jelani Tavai. And I mean, he's been playing a little bit. I think that might be related to Collins somewhat.
Yeah,
but
Collins back. He was out.
He's in, but not really anything too surprising. Sean Wade, not active, but like you said,
so the fact
you've
that
got Sean Davis up.
The fact that they have Sean Davis up, is that an indication that they don't think they have much there in Wade?
Well, I mean, I think they're different. You know, I think Davis is an experienced safety, and so I don't know what the crossover is. I've never even seen Davis really play, but I think it at least gives them some kind of insurance there at the safety position. You know, if Adrian Phillips were to get hurt or McCourty to have another guy on the back end, how much are they going to throw him out there?
Right.
Is it going to be special teams? But I do think, you know, I mean, they played a lot of. It seems like a lot of times they rotate between three nickel or three safety, three corner. And they've played a lot of base against the run-heavy teams, but you know this would be a big three-safety game, and they can't really do it. So not to say I think they're going to put Sean Davis in there as like
No, I think it would be like Miles Bryant or someone like that.
So,
Joanne Williams.
But I just think it takes them out of what they probably would have done.
It's a big loss.
You know,
Duggar's played well, and they'll miss him tonight.
Physical guy, can run.
how much will they miss him tonight? They'll miss him for his tackling, which has been good.
Yeah, he's the leading tackler on the team.
But in terms of like what he's doing downfield, I don't know
matchup wise.
Right, I would agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't really matter that far. But
would you go so far as to say they're all about that base? About that base?
Base defense?
No trouble?
They were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were a couple weeks ago.
Paul doesn't know that reference.
I do. I do know that.
Oh, there you go.
It's really not that hard.
Little compare and contrast.
But I liked your assessment of me not like pulling the plug all that fast.
You don't pull the
well.
plug on people early.
What do you think? Sean McDermott, Flea?
Not in that picture. There are other pictures of Sean McDermott and pictures of Flea, and I appreciate us getting the side-by-side comparison up. It's something Flea is much more squintier than that in real life. He's got his eyes open real wide in that photo.
One thing I will say about Sean McDermott that I agree with my buddy Jim Murray with, he's got the red ass. He seems like he's upset a lot. He seems like he's upset a lot about things that, the head coach, you're the head coach.
Yeah.
You're the head coach.
Be cool, bro.
Act like you've been, on the sideline in charge of a football game at some point in your life.
Right. Don't melt down.
They get a lot of penalties. The defense gets a lot of penalties. I think that there was a stat that they lead the league in defensive penalties resulting in first downs. Those are crushers. And on a night like tonight, that can set you back for a whole half because it can change field position.
Oh, it could absolutely be not just swing momentum.
You get like a late hit on the sideline that gives you 15 yards. That's a big play in this game.
Sure. Yep, I'm with you. All right, let's go to Melvin in Tennessee. Our friend Melvin. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, Mel.
Excellent.
Hi.
Hey. I am excited, as cliche, I guess, as this can be, but you have a young quarterback, got Mac and all the stuff like that. I'm just happy for almost the way the season is going. If you look at the experience that he's building, you've seen some. They've been 2-4. Now you're almost at the top of the AFC, and you got this pressure. You've been in different spots. You've just been in different situations. So I'm just happy to see. There's no real teacher other than experience. So it's kind of happy to see him in these situations. I won't want to be like, if this season were to happen, let's say year 3, and then this first kind of, I wouldn't say get into the playoffs or whatever it is like that. You're getting some big games early. And, the pressure's going to be on for them for these next couple of games to get some wins in. So whatever happens, it's just a good thing to see in a young quarterback.
Yeah,
so,
Melvin, I'm glad
happy to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the seeding and everything that happened. We haven't even discussed what happened between Baltimore and Pittsburgh yesterday, which is just confounding. I mean, I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier today, if you've had any discussions about it. And Melvin, thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate you. But the fact that the Patriots are at this moment the top seed in the AFC by virtue of Baltimore's decision to try and win the game yesterday, I don't want to say anything from the outset. Paul, I would like to hear your thoughts on it first. What did you think of John Harbaugh's decision and maybe more importantly Lamar Jackson's execution on that 2-point conversion try?
Yeah, I loved it from the Baltimore perspective because of a lot of the reasons that Harbaugh himself talked about afterward. I thought they were holding on. I thought they couldn't stop Pittsburgh in the second half. As limited as Pittsburgh is offensively, they were moving it up and down the field at will. The momentum had completely switched. And I love going for 2 to win games in general because I feel like who would you rather be with one play from the 2-yard line? Just gut feeling. No wrong answers here. No right or wrong answer. But who would you rather be, the offense or the defense?
The offense.
Because I would rather be the offense. I think I have a better chance of getting my 2 yards than stopping it.
I mean, they should have had it.
Well, that's that.
I mean,
As a complete aside, they had a terrific play call that was executed to perfection, and for some reason the tight end decided to stop running. I have no idea what made him slow down as he cut to the outside. He just stopped.
I am totally against you on this.
That's okay. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay, so number one, in answer to your question, who's my offense? And to be fair, if it's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I'd like being the offense a little bit better. I thought the throw, for whatever reason, whether it was disrupted by a pass rusher or whether
Mark
it was
Andrews
just
stopped in the middle of his route. That would be the answer.
No. You're talking like it was a tight end.
Yeah, he's going out to the sideline, and for some reason he just stopped halfway there and then kept going, and the throw was just that much too far to the outside.
I thought it was indicative of the way
Bad
Lamar
drop.
Jackson throws a lot of his passes, which are lackadaisical maybe, but they're not deliberate. He doesn't
He's
have
not
a
he's not a great passer. I don't think anybody.
No
can argue
kidding,
that.
because that was a crappy ball that he threw. He lobbed one out, and it was.
But what I'm telling you is he threw it to a spot that Andrews should have been at.
I
think he's a bad passer. I agree with you.
So
I think that pass was thrown to a spot, and his tight end let him down by stopping in the middle of his route.
Okay, so what's more likely if we're not gonna be able to discern from watching the tape whether it was a bad pass or the tight end somehow quit on his route, which wasn't even much of a route. It was only about 4 steps that he had taken. What's the more likely?
Exactly.
What's the more likely scenario, that Lamar Jackson threw a bad pass, or that the tight end didn't have a chance to run a great route?
Let's just say Lamar Jackson made a bad pass.
He did.
I still agree with Mike. I think the play was there. He was wide open. I think that play gets executed 99 times out of 100. Lamar Jackson made a bad pass. Mark Andrews dropped it. They lose. I mean, I'll take my chances on that play every time, especially with the Ravens defense in the state it was in. They lost another cornerback, their third
big.
starting quarterback corner out for the year, and Marlon Humphrey is the best of the lot that they lost. I think the Ravens are in serious trouble. I've been thinking they've been in serious trouble for a long time. But, that said, they're, a dimple of a football away from being 9-4. And he couldn't make the catch. Jackson couldn't make the throw.
All right, what did you make of it, Deuce?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny the way we experienced this. I was watching with my whole family, and I had to walk through what are they doing? Why are they going? I had to go through the whole statistics and odds and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting to see my wife and kids kind of like what I go through everything that we go through, and we discuss like everything that goes into it. But I mean, I agree situationally with a lot of what Paul said, just in terms of you're right there, you have the chance to win it. Your defense is struggling a little bit. I always admire teams that kind of have the gumption to go for it.
I love it.
Would the Patriots have? I don't think so. I don't think that that's their style. I think that they prefer to play the long game and take the little bit here and there, and more or less wait for mistakes. So I think the Ravens. I mean, it's like Mike Tomlin said last night. They're predictable in their dedication to the statistics.
But let's go with the game. Let's go with the game for a second, because I think that you're right in general, that the Patriots probably would not have gone for 2. Under most circumstances. However, what would you do, say, if it was did you see that little shuffle of the feet that he has right there? Like, I don't have any idea why he slowed down like that. And I think that Jackson's throwing it where he thought he was going to be. It's a bad throw.
Okay.
It's a bad catch. It's bad execution. But the play is there.
Okay.
You can see the play is there as a walk-in.
The shuffle, you're absolutely right, and you nailed it on that, but he's wide open.
Oh, yeah. He that ball cannot fall incomplete.
Put 30% more zip on it and put it on the numbers and hope that he catches one that's right in the middle of his chest.
Yeah, and again, I'm not apologizing for Lamar Jackson, because the reason this game was close in the first place was Lamar Jackson's incompetence during the course of the game. If Lamar Jackson played a reasonable game, they win that game by 10 points. But he didn't, and he's struggling, and the Ravens' offense is struggling. They can't score more than 20 points in a game. So until that changes, they're no threat, if you ask me.
I thought he was going to run it.
But I'm going to say, like, the Dallas game. If the Dallas game, let's say the touchdown the Patriots scored at the end of the game brought them within 1, and there was 10 seconds left. I think that's a time that Belichick might say,
We've given up 500 yards.
We're holding on here. We're not going to stop them anymore.
Yeah,
that's why I was so surprised he didn't go for the 4th down. Now can I go on a minor little rant?
Yeah, just before you do,
go ahead.
I think they should have kicked the extra point and
I certainly wouldn't say, oh, what a bunch of sackless wonders.
For
kicking an extra point to tie a game.
And you're right. It's Pittsburgh had scored 17 of their 20 points in the fourth quarter. I think,
they had control of the game. That's why I would have gone for 2. But I wouldn't kill Harbaugh for kicking it and going overtime.
All it takes is hopefully winning the toss and you're asking Lamar Jackson to get you into field goal range and hope that you get a stop after that.
But that wouldn't win it.
That wouldn't win it, but it would give you a chance because now momentum has swung back. You just scored a touchdown late and tied the game up. It's tough for me to adopt this whole, win the game attitude. It feels very collegey. It feels too collegey.
Like I said,
I
wouldn't argue, but here's my very minor rant.
Go ahead.
Going for 2 in the win at the end of a game has nothing to do with analytics at all. It's not an analytical play. It's the matter of fact, I think it's the opposite of an analytics play. It's a gut feeling play. It's throw the numbers out the window. I think my best chance to win right now. We have them here. We can't stop them. We don't have the personnel to stop them. The last 4 times Pittsburgh's had the ball, they've scored. Going back to the end of the first half, whatever. I don't like the way the game is going. My gut feeling tells me I'm going to try to get 2 yards to win the game. For Mike Tomlin to go to a podium and be a little bitch the way he was after the game and say they're analytics driven to the point where they're predictable, and that's why you stopped them. If you knew they were going for it, Mike, why'd you have to call timeout before the play to get set up?
Because that was a gut feeling, too.
It was predictable. He knew he was going for it.
Just like Bill Belichick not calling a timeout before the end of the Seattle Super Bowl. Again, sometimes it's a gut feeling, Paul. That was the ultimate analog troll right there.
Right. And listen, again, I wouldn't if Harbaugh just kicked the extra point, there's not going to be anybody that's going to complain. No, he's not going to take the heat for kicking the extra point and going overtime if he loses. He sets himself up to take the heat losing the way he did.
It's gutsy.
Okay?
It's real gutsy.
I have no problem with what he did. You do. Fine. Neither one of us is right or wrong. But what I did find distasteful was, and I know those guys are, I know those teams have a healthy respect for each other, but they also hate each other.
Yes.
Right? And I get that. And he took a shot. I just thought it was a classless shot. And I don't think Mike Tomlin's a classless guy. I think Mike Tomlin is pretty straight shooter. I got a little tired of his, Pittsburgh Steeler nonsense. We're going to put our pads on and stuff. You're on life support, buddy. You're 6'5" You can't do it. You're done.
I guess I don't know enough about the way the Ravens conduct their business to know if he's right in terms of how he talks about their team with analytics. I think it's curious that you would call a team that has Lamar Jackson as their quarterback that seems to make a lot of plays on his own to call them overly analytical.
Because they go for it on 4th down a lot. Those are analytical decisions. But to me, going for 2 at the end of a game is not an analytics decision. Going for 2 down 9, that's an analytics decision. You're trying to get to within 7, when instead of making it a 1-score game, you're making it a 2. You're risking those are analytics. Like your chart says one thing, the new thing now you're down 14, you score a touchdown, you go for 2 with the thought being I'm going to get at least one of the 2, and if I get the first one, I don't have to get 2. I can kick the next one to win.
That doesn't mean
that's a new analytics approach.
That doesn't mean Harbaugh did not make that decision though, based on analytics.
No, what I'm saying, I don't know why he made the decision other than what he said. He said we did it because you saw we lost we were down 3 cornerbacks. That's what he said. Why he did it. That has nothing to do with analytics. That's I can't stop them anymore.
All right.
That's what he said. Now, you might be right. It might have been an analytical thing.
Yeah, there was some explanation I saw on TV of if they decided to go for it, they had a 37.6 more. It was one of those kind of they did break it down.
But that's
analytically
analytic geeks
better
can
chance
claim
to win.
Can claim ownership of the decision. It doesn't have anything to do with analytics because you do not know what's going to happen in overtime. Mm-hmm. So to me, that would be the opposite of analytics because now you're dealing I can tell you analytically what my chances are of getting a 2-point conversion. I can't tell you who's going to win the coin toss. I can't tell you who's going to move the ball, who's going to miss a field goal, who's going to get the ball needing a touchdown or not. I can't tell you all those things. Those are all unknown factors.
Well, it's kind of like 4th and 2 in 2009, right? Like that, not really. We can't really. We're here. Let's just go for it right now.
I agree. Sometimes it's a game decision that's based on what's happening at the time, as opposed to my chart says to go for 2. That's wrong. Well, what's my chart? You can't tell me it's wrong. And I just think some of that is like that. And I've been seeing some stuff that Brandon Staley, my new favorite guy, with the Chargers, he was talking about. Did you see some of his quotes today?
No.
Like, he's been talking a lot. He's been Hardy. He goes for fourth downs like more than anybody.
Right.
Different situations, different sides of the field and whatever. And he just was talking about it. He goes, playing it safe, all playing it safe does is protects your stats. And you lose closer. And that, it makes it look better. It makes you look like you're better than you are. But if you're not trying to win, basically his point is, if you're not trying to win the game, it's not better to lose by a field goal than it is to lose by 10.
You're still losing.
Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I thought a great decision yesterday by your guy, Dan Campbell.
Nice.
The end of the game, you know where I'm going?
No.
Lions are up 2.
Oh, my God.
Fourth and this much from their own 29-yard line.
Okay,
I'm sure you hated the decision to go for it.
No. I like the decision to go for it. I don't know why you tell Goff to take a 7-step drop and try and go downfield.
Okay, so the play call.
What's with the play?
So the play call, not the greatest, I admit. Okay, but did you see this?
I didn't see this one.
So they're losing. The Detroit's got the ball up 2, and they're trying to run the clock out. And there was 4 minutes left.
About 3 and change.
3 and change. So the Vikings, they're desperately trying to get the ball back. The Lions, 4th and inches. They went for it from their own 29-yard line. They don't get it. Now, your initial reaction is like, that was crazy. You're setting them up easy. But to me, that is an analytics decision. Why?
Quick.
Yes. Now I can give up points, fall behind, and still have time to come back, which, by the way, is exactly what happened.
Did they give up the field goal or
they gave up the touchdown. It almost worked out perfectly.
I know, but you can't give him too much credit. Number one, Goff drops back. He fumbles the ball.
It was a terrible call.
It's not like they get it at the line of scrimmage. They get even more field position.
It was a terrible play call.
And then
instead, they got to go this far and they drop back to pass.
And
it was a terrible play call. I would agree with Hardy.
I don't think he was in shotgun, but he was. He took the ball.
It was under center. It was a play action, and they wanted to throw a quick one out to the fullback.
Yeah.
The Vikings had it sniffed out.
It was
Goff started retreating, and you were like, "Oh boy!"
Deuce, it
then
was
he
so
fumbles.
gross. It was so gross.
But what it allowed, though, was the Vikings' score to go ahead took place at least 2 minutes earlier than it would have had they punted.
Except
the game's over if you punt.
Yeah. The Vikings picked up a first down. At that point, that's when you let them score. And you could have even let them score the play before that.
Right,
so
but what they did was they had timeouts, though. So they tried to stop them by calling their timeouts, and they got to 3rd and goal. And if they stop them on 3rd and goal, then they only would have needed a field goal at the end.
They should have let them score before the last play that took them down to the 2-minute warning.
That was in play.
Yeah,
letting them score was in play there.
And I just don't want to give the Lions too much credit. I don't want to come off as being too much of a honk. Listen, they tried to give that game away multiple times. It was just a great play at the end that won it.
Well, according to Jim McBride, Nick Folk just good from 43 as well as 48 yards. So
okay,
he's not affected by the win tonight. So get those fingers warmed up for the good list.
Okay, so we have some video right now of Folk kicking. Now, this is, as you can see from the flags on top of the goalpost, he is kicking with the wind behind his back. There's a video online of the Bills kicker attempting an extra point on the other end. The ball goes up about 5 yards shy of the goalpost and then gets blown back toward him. So on the other end...
If you catch that, could you run it in?
I don't know. Don't ask me what the rules are.
Is that a touchdown?
But there's a video making the rounds online right now. The Bills kicker, again, he is set up from extra point range, and the kick is up, and it stops 10 yards shy of the goalpost and then gets blown back to about the 10-yard line. It's unbelievable. It makes it as far as about the goal line and then gets blown back.
And Paul had a little rant on this, and I'm going to piggyback on it. It's just people tweeting football weather. This isn't football weather. I think football weather, I think a crisp fall day. It's beautiful out. That's football weather. Like, I got a sweatshirt and jeans on. It's not a torrential downpour with wind coming. Like, that doesn't make me think of football. This makes me think like somehow you just got to grind it out tonight. But I don't know. This is football weather.
Let's go to Tony in Canada, where they have all kinds of weather. Tony, what's going on? Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, guys. How we doing today?
Real Tony.
Good. Was that shot that you just showed there, was that the what it looked like in Buffalo at this time? Was that like...
That is almost real time in Buffalo. Nick Folk out there making kicks from a distance, but again, with the wind behind him, it looks like the wind is blowing pretty much straight down the field one direction. It is not a left to right breeze.
So he was making from how far out?
48.
Yeah, he made a 43 and a 48.
Are you?
According to Jim McBride, and I'm looking at some of the footage now.
But, Tony, that's my point. I could make it from 48 with a 50-mile-an-hour tailwind. I'll go out there and kick it right now. I'm a great kicker.
What about when you're against the wind? You don't kick it at all, I assume.
That's my point, Tony. The other video circulating is of the Bills kicker attempting an extra point, and the ball doesn't even make it past the goal line, much less through the uprights. It gets blown back.
Wow, it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Hey, one thing I haven't heard you guys talk much about, and I know, Hardy, I called your show earlier today about what are the implications of this game in terms of the Patriots, their positioning in the playoffs. Because let me tell you what I think, and then I'd like to hear what you guys. But we've got the Bills, and then we've got 4 other games. The only game that I could say we might be able to pencil in is the one against the Jags, which we have at home. But other than that, we've got the Colts, the Bills, and the Dolphins.
Yep. In Miami, that's right.
And that's right. You're reading my mind. In Miami, and actually the way they're playing right now, they might be playing for a wild card position in the playoffs as well, the Dolphins. So that game could be even harder than what it usually is. On the other side, though, the Bills, they've got the Bucks. Well, that's a tough one. But then they've got the Panthers at home. They play the Pats away, but they've got, in regards to home games, they've got the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Jets, all 3 games at home, which chances are, they're going to win those games, especially if it could have something to do with their playoff positioning. So here's the point I'm trying to make. I don't know if anybody really is talking about it or the fans are considering. I hope the Patriot players are thinking about it. But this game, the result of this game has huge implications in terms of their position in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to – I don't think they're going to win the AFC conference. I think
you got to win out. You win out, you can win. You win out, you'll win the AFC.
Yeah, look, winning the conference as the number 1 seed right now, of course it's in play. And Tony, thanks for the call, buddy. It's in play right now, but in terms of what this game means, let's just keep it to the division. Yeah. I think that's a fair thing to do tonight. Huge implications, number 1, first and foremost, for the division, obviously.
Yeah, you got 1 game to give, I think. I mean, they could lose this game to Buffalo, but then if they win out and Buffalo loses to Tampa Bay and then they beat Buffalo in the rematch, they'll take the division. So, I mean, just to oversimplify it, win your last 5 games, you're probably the number 1 seed in the AFC. I mean, you are the number 1 seed, so there it is.
This is the crazy thing, though, and this is what is kind of bugging me about this game tonight. This would have been a great barometer for the rest of the season in terms of like thinking about the playoffs and the postseason. If you were to get blown out and Buffalo looks like Buffalo and all of a sudden the Patriots have a little bit of a return to earth game, then you start thinking, all right, maybe a little too much too soon. This isn't it. If it's close or you win this game tonight, you're thinking, all right, a split is in play if it's a close game but you lose. If the Patriots were to win tonight under normal conditions, then you start thinking you can beat them again at Gillette Stadium, and now you can let your imagination run away with you.
Yeah.
The problem is the freaking weather tonight is throwing a huge wrench into the works, and I don't know what we'll be able to tell about either one of these teams after this game tonight if the weather keeps up like this, and it is supposed to. It's supposed to blow like this all night long.
I just don't know what to think because on one hand we have NBC Sports Boston on right here, which it looks like a blizzard, and then I'm looking at Jim McBride, who just 6 minutes ago put up Nick Folk's field goal. Mike Reese just put up one as well where it looks like a clear night. Like it doesn't look. So I really don't know what we're in for tonight. But I agree with you, Hardy. That's what's frustrating. And I wanted to see them match up against a passing offense that had a bunch of targets like you hadn't really seen since they did a good job against the Chargers, not so much against the Cowboys. I wanted to see them how would they deal with that kind of threat with Sanders, and Diggs on the outside and Beasley in the middle and Dalton Knox in the middle, in the tight end position. It's just you're not going to get that tonight, and so I don't think you're going to get a lot of answers. I think you might learn what you somewhat already know, which I think is that this Patriots team is very mentally tough. I think they're a well-coached football team. I think they were kind of beating themselves a little bit too much earlier in the year, and that still is an element that if they have an off game, is that going to pop back up? Are they going to put the ball on the turf? Those kind of things. But I think coming into this game, it's a lot of people saying, well, we think, the Patriots are tough. And, I see some people talking about the Bills. We think the Bills might be soft. And, they're built to play passing teams and go up and down the field and, not really line up and play head-to-head like the Patriots might like to do. And
right.
I don't think the Patriots have any problem with that. And, again, I think a lot of these wins here on the win streak have been, specific to those games. And, you're not necessarily writing home about every single performance from every single guy, but overall they get enough contributions from enough guys to pull it out, and their defense has been playing really well. And so now you're going to be in another kind of challenging situation where I think you can learn how mentally tough they are, how much their ability is to go on the road and win a game, especially in Buffalo. And, somebody mentioned Mac Jones. It's like, if we want Mac Jones to be the quarterback here for the next decade, he's going to have to go to Buffalo and win, and there's going to be more games like this. So I do think this is the start of the sample size you're starting to see in condition games, that kind of thing. But, as you're seeing right now in warm-ups, we just put up, right now it doesn't look too crazy right there right now. It looks fairly normal. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's tough to know. It's tough to know what to believe here, exactly how bad it is. I think at the very least you can expect that win to wreak havoc tonight in the kicking game, in the special teams, for punts. And that's going to rear its head time and time again throughout this game tonight. You're watching warm-ups here as we get ready for the Patriots and Bills tonight in Buffalo. Obviously, the weather, big storyline of this game. The fact that both of these teams now are battling it out for the AFC East, another huge storyline for this game. The Patriots, by virtue of the Ravens' loss last night, top seed in the AFC, all of this coming into play as we get ready to watch these two teams do battle for Monday Night Football. Let's go to Koshima in Connecticut. Joining us now on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Koshima, what's up? And Koshima had to wait too long.
Yeah, I won't tell Paul about this one. Don't worry.
Yes, you will. You'll wait till I'm out of the room. You wait till we.
That's
not you two.
Maybe Jaws too. He hates them. I don't really know, but it'll definitely be something that Paulie doesn't like to talk about.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I feel like I'm dominating our topics of conversation while Paul has been out of the room. Did you?
I got one for you.
Okay, I would love to hear it.
I'd be very curious if you've taken in any of the Beatles documentary and what you think of it.
Look at this guy. Wow. What a great question. I started it yesterday. And I've heard about it. I love where all this stuff has come from. It's like a real Blair Witch Project. It's like found footage, and they finally.
It looks too good, doesn't it? The footage looks too good.
It's taken like all this time, and it's like, wow, it's really, really well done. I started watching it last night and became so insanely bored. Watching Paul McCartney try and talk with Looney Tunes 1 and Looney Tunes 2. Here's George Harrison. He's trying to talk George Harrison off the ledge. It's like, sorry, but your ideas sucked. If you had better ideas for songs, we would have been using them all these years, while his two transcendental meditation guys are sitting in a corner rocking back and forth like they're about to snap out. Meanwhile, John, and I saw one thing online. It's like, anyone who says Yoko Ono is the reason, watch this and you'll change your mind. No, having Yoko sitting there saying nothing is creepier than if she were spouting off every 5 minutes and interjecting. Here's the thing about the Beatles. I respect them as probably the greatest quote-unquote band ever. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but everybody likes something that the Beatles have done. I don't know that I really like any of these guys. And the one guy who I thought was a bit of a nothing was Ringo. And Ringo can't write a song. But in terms of a drummer, not bad. He's what that band needed.
You know drummers.
Yeah, I know a little bit about drumming. He's what the band needed. If they had had Buddy Rich as their drummer, the band would have sounded totally different, and they wouldn't have been the Beatles. So it was the perfect four of them together. Ringo's up there, not doing much. I almost feel bad for him. Paul doing his thing. I don't think any of them come off as particularly likable. And I don't like the guys walking around in suits. It's way too 60s. These guys, apparently he still had to wear suits a lot of the time.
Right.
I don't like the cameraman smoking the cigar. And I thought it was boring. I turned it up. It was probably 40 minutes into it. And I'm like, I'm done. I tapped out.
Yeah. We got Mac Jones, but just to entice you a little bit.
That old stuff.
I would tell you, it picks up in the second episode because they start locking in on the songs, and so they actually start banging stuff out, and then it gets interesting because you're like, oh, here's the song. Instead, it's just sitting there trying to figure out the words to two of us, and going back and forth. I mean, it was monotonous, but I'm glad I teed you up on that one.
Yeah, I tapped out after a while. I'll go back because it's good enough.
You'll get into it. You
it
should.
is.
Yeah.
It's still compelling, even though I got bored. It's compelling just watching the footage and seeing how things were being done, and like the whole concept of doing this live recording in front of an audience. It is craziness.
They want to go to Africa, and it's like it ends up just being on the roof. So yeah, it's.
But oh my God,
it's good. It gets there. You got to get through the beginning though. It's a slog.
I didn't know how nuts George Harrison was. I mean, he's pretty nutty. And he seems like a decent guy. What's with the two guys over there in the corner?
I know.
George Harrison's friends. Why'd you bring them? Why are they here? Because John brought Yoko? You had to bring somebody? Right. Ringo didn't need anybody. Paul didn't need anybody.
They got people showing up. Don't worry.
They
stick
do?
with it.
All right. Hey, Paul, how'd it go?
Yeah, we somehow ventured off into areas that I did not foresee.
Oh. Like
it was
like Christmas cookies? What?
Like I sort of expressed disappointment that this game could be impacted by the weather more than we thought even going in, and now it's the asterisk is coming, and I go, what do you mean, what asterisk? If the Patriots win, I go, why are we assuming the Patriots will win? Like I'm talking about either way.
We were just talking about, we'll talk about it more on the other side because that's something that's irking me about this too for kind of a similar reason. But we'll do it and we'll get to more of your calls. Over-unders we have to get to here still as the Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin, continues. And we're happy that Bose is on board as always. Proud to be the official sound and official headphones of the New England Patriots and the NFL. Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds. Rule the quiet. Learn more at Bose.com.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
That looks awful. Football's back and it's time to go big. Pepsi pulled pork sandwiches are game day greatness. Now we're ready for game day. Check out some more awesome recipes on madeforpatriotswatching.com.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Him and his 100 pounds of teeth running around out there beating us every time they played.
We are killing the Patriots.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Headphones popped out. You're gonna have to take over here for a second, Deuce.
There's T.O. Terrell Owens. Remember him from his brief Buffalo.
Well, he's supposedly like
stint?
the Bills legend tonight.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Based on the 5 catches he made as a Bill.
It's Terrell.
Terrell. Sorry.
Yeah, we learned that
what do you
relatively
think
late.
What do you think his connection is with Damian Harris? That big hug for Damian Harris there.
I don't know.
What would that be?
I don't know. Alabama, no.
Huh.
But anyway, I'm seeing some clips of field goal work. I saw Nick Folk made one from 43 yards to the.
Yeah, we were saying that what McBride
one side.
said.
He's also missed a couple, but it kind of looks like it might be tough conditions, but not impossible. Not like 08.
That's what it seems like right now, as you're seeing. I mean, this doesn't.
It looks cold.
Looks cold. Max got the scuba suit on.
Yeah, I wonder, just how much of an impact it will have. Maybe they can just play this game somewhat normally.
I mean, it sure doesn't look like a lot of the footage we've seen where the wind and snow is swirling through the field. I mean, this looks pretty standard.
Here's what I was.
They're throwing it. They're catching it.
Look, he caught it.
There was the extra point attempt on the that people were telling Nick Folk had made from 43 and 48. On the other end, the Bills kicker was out there and just practicing extra points. The ball got stopped at the goal line and blown back to about the 10.
I was actually at a game in Buffalo in '98. It's before I worked there. Where Adam Vinatieri had a field goal that went up and it literally came down backwards. Just like follow my finger. It went up and then came back down.
Like boomerang. Well, I'm seeing Mark Daniels too saying, it just seems like with the wind, you're going to be able to punt it or kick it forever. I mean, Mark Daniels saying Jake Bailey might punt it 90 yards with the wind, but
good luck.
Against the wind, good luck. You're not
trying to
doing anything. So you kind of have been building this up as, both teams are going to be kind of screwed, but it seems like if one team gets one side, it might actually be a little bit of an advantage as far as the kicking game. We'll see what the cross breeze is like, though. I mean, that's all the clips you've been seeing from 08 where he kicks it and then all of a sudden just shoots right. It looks like when I golf.
There we go.
The ball goes up and then, whoa, that's way over in the other fairway.
Here, Paul, as you can see, I'll just pull that up so you can see it here. The point after practice that was going on here in the field. He's busy texting.
Oh, I'm
Never
looking.
mind.
I'm
Okay.
looking.
There we go. So that's just that's extra point land, and there's the ball, and boom,
Nice.
blown backwards. So I just got aggravated thinking about it because if the Patriots were able to win this one tonight, you can start thinking about wins later on in the season. You can think, yeah, it's reasonable to assume they'll get another win over the Bills when the game is played at Gillette. If they were to lose a close game against the Bills tonight, you could say, you know what, maybe they will still end up with a split. They'll be able to beat the Bills at Gillette Stadium. But now, because of the conditions, I don't know. We'll watch the game as it unfolds, but if it's like crazy, throughout the entire game, what do you really learn? And that
was the point that I was trying to make on the radio. And
what do you learn about either team?
And got absolutely destroyed.
Well, but I think if the Patriots go out there and just run roughshod right over the Bills and defensively win the line of scrimmage and confound Josh Allen, make them one-dimensional, if you come out of that and say, we can run over him again here, I think it's hard because I think Buffalo, if they come here and if the passing game is in fact affected tonight, that that might be the X factor in the rematch. Buffalo, they couldn't really do what they do with the passing game in that windy game up in Buffalo, but in the rematch, they might be better suited, and that might be what adds that new dimension to that game.
All right. Ethan in Dorchester on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Ethan?
Hey, fellas, how are we?
Good.
Good.
Awesome. I think, obviously, you got Mac versus Josh tonight. That's a big battle. First big weather-tested game for Mac. But I think a big battle in this game is going to be the secondary. You saw Tre'Davious go out. He's done for the year. That gives the Pats a big advantage. But I think kind of one of the unsung heroes on this run the Pats have been on here is Kyle Duggar and his versatility, being able to line up in the box, up top. And I think seeing how they're going to be able to replace him tonight. I mean, does Jalen Mills come down and play that kind of role, or how do they approach him not being in the lineup?
I think they just have to get away from the three safety defensive packages they've had and lean more into three cornerbacks with Miles Bryant, and it's basically McCourty and Phillips. And I think you bring Phillips down into the box a little bit, but I think a lot of this week you hear about teams playing more cover two and taking away the deep stuff, and so you're a little bit limited now because you can't have that third safety in the box and still be able to play two guys high. So but also too, it's worth pointing out that Miles Bryant's worked at safety plenty too, especially in the deep part of the field. Even earlier parts of this year in training camp, he's been back there too. So I think they do have some built-in flexibility, but I think you're totally right. I think Kyle Duggar's been an ascending player for the defense, and he's leading the team in tackles. But it's also just, I think, his physical presence that's that young legs, the speed. That's just something you love to have, and that's maybe the hardest thing to lose.
All right, Ethan. Appreciate the call. Thanks, buddy. We got a couple of calls from Connecticut. We'll get to them both. Koshima, who wasn't there before.
Wow, Koshima double whammied you today, Hardy.
Koshima not there the first time.
Good job, Hardy.
And was And you said you wouldn't bring it up.
I wasn't going to, but he
So
called
what? So
back.
okay, what's with the double whammy?
I didn't say anything about double whammy. I just said good
Yeah,
job,
because you
Hardy.
didn't know that he wasn't there the first time. Dude said he
I
wouldn't
wouldn't have
say
said
anything.
anything if you didn't try to go back to him and then it happened again. So
I hope
felt
Koshima calls back because I
obliged.
will not pick it up.
Third time is a charm.
Moises is always there. I don't have to worry about Moises. Hello.
Always.
Thank you for being there.
Hey guys, how you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
I'm so excited for this game, and I hope our boys come out with the W. Since Baltimore lost, we're first place in the division, plus the seeding. So, guess what? Matt Judon is going to have a breakout game tonight against the Bills.
I would love to see. I have a breakout.
Yeah, he broke out. He's going to keep it
week
rolling.
2.
He could keep it rolling.
Yeah.
He had a breakout opening day at training camp. That was when he broke out.
Moises, I'm with you. I love
But-
Judon. I hope he has a huge game tonight. If he does, if Judon has a big game tonight, in a game where they're not, really trying to pass anyway, but if he disrupts every one of those, forget it. It's over. I'll chalk up a Patriots victory right now if you tell me Judon has a big game.
I think it's a big challenge, though. I think a lot of what you heard this week, and I heard it a few times, was we got to keep him in the pocket. I heard them say it. So it's tough for those guys on the edge with Judon and Kyle Van Noy. I mean, Kyle Van Noy is experienced doing it, but I wonder how much Judon is used to. You got to lay off. You can't run past the quarterback. You got to have a controlled rush. You got to keep him in there. There's nothing that's going to drive me more nuts tonight than everybody's covered. Josh Allen squirts out one little way, and it's 17 yards down the field because he's just running like a freight train like he does. So I just think keeping him in the pocket, not letting him get out, finishing him when you get to him, getting him down. He's like Roethlisberger. He's a big, strong guy. So
yep.
You got to get at him. You got to take him down when you get a shot at him.
Quick break here. One email before we go. Any chance Bill comes out aggressive on defense and goes after Josh Allen right from the start? This is from Russell in Arkansas. He also says, what is the over-under on punches landed by Hardy in the Hardy versus Matt fight? And he puts the total at 1/2.
Hey, I'll take the over.
Thanks.
You might get one, and then it's kind of
as long as it's not going to be impact punches. I'm not going to.
No, I think he'll let me land a couple as part of having
be
fun.
one of those.
And then he'll do like the
it's going to be one of those. You punch him as hard as you can, and he
looks at the blood, licks it off, and then it's go time.
Come on, bad boy. Come on, bad boy.
I got a lot of more.
Oh man, such a bad idea. All right,
yeah, that was your fault.
Let's take one more break here, and then we'll come back and take care of all the rest of the phone calls, emails, and the over-unders, not to mention our pick for tonight's game as the Patriots pregame show continues.
That looks awful. Football's back, and it's time to go big. Pepsi pulled pork sandwiches are game day greatness. Now we're ready for game day. Check out some more awesome recipes on madeforpatriotswatching.com.
An active lifestyle means you never stop moving. That's why only Theragun devices are designed to release your body's deepest muscle tension, so you can do the things you love. Land that pose, hit that final rep, taste success, and do it all over again. You only have one body. Make it a TheraBody.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Woman, I am willing to make the fact that we are on the brink of.
I like it.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
That sounded a lot better than I thought it did. Thank you for saving that, clipping it, using it. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo here on the Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin. Back to your phone calls. Let's go to Mary Beth in Syracuse. Mary Beth, you are up next. What's happening?
Hey, I'm a little bit north of Syracuse, about 125 miles east of Buffalo, and it's gusty winds here. I have a friend up in Rochester, even closer to Buffalo, and he said it's crazy wind up there. gusting to like 40 miles an hour.
Wow.
So it's not sustained, but it's super gusty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those have been the reports all day, and if it stays like that throughout the game, what do you think, Mary Beth? Who ends up
right now,
winning?
Right now, we're supposed to start snowing at about 8:15.
All right.
So
Who do you like
I think
tonight?
the Patriots.
Why?
I'm not going to lie, though. I'm a Patriot girl. I bet the Patriots every week.
Okay. All right, there we go. That's a good enough reason. Thanks.
That's my team. I'm
You
not
and
gonna
me
talk
both.
Anybody else.
Love it. Yeah.
Love it.
Given the weather, I mean, I'm not a fool. They are going to lose sometimes, but given the weather, I think they get a great chance tonight.
All right, Mary Beth. Thank you. Appreciate the call. Go Pats.
Thanks, Mary Beth.
It just
we can't argue with that logic.
No, yeah,
no.
What you're going to argue with?
Refreshing honesty.
She is a fanatic. She is a
Absolutely.
fan by very definition.
I'm a Patriots girl. I bet on them every week. That's refreshing honesty.
Right.
I like it.
It sounds like me with the Lions.
Yuck.
We're
Right.
at 8-4-1 against the spread. They're actually a good team to bet.
Yeah, Danny V
generally
threw
are.
that out there. You know, Danny V's a huge Lions fan too, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Is he sharp? He's a sharp.
He's not a sharp. He's a Lions fan. That's by definition makes you the opposite of a sharp.
That's not true.
No, they're 8-4-1 with the spread.
Not
What
true.
do the Sharps know?
Todd in Greenville, North Carolina. What's up, Todd?
Well, my wife works for a wonderful company, and through earning points through doing great work, we can get a Theragun. So is there any model that you guys recommend?
Well, we got the little one.
That's the Theragun Mini.
The Mini. And
Is that the handheld one that just fits in your hand? Because there's one that kind of looks like a screwdriver, and
Yeah.
there's one that just fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, the palm of the hand
triangle.
one.
The triangle palm of the hand one is the one that we received, and I found it delightful. It's easy just to hold in one hand, and you can really, I've had a gun version before, but I think it's a high quality. This is high quality, and you can just kind of sit there with one hand. You don't have to. It's not clunky. I like it.
Sold. So I think that the Pats win no matter what happens, because I think this is a learning experience. And bad weather, whatever, you're going up against a good team, just get in there, and they'll figure out what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. I think this is just a win for them no matter what, in my opinion, moving forward. And that's the way I'm looking at this game.
Okay.
So, thanks, guys, and hopefully talk to you when it's all over and we're all happy and cheering.
Should have
Bye.
conferenced you in with Mary Beth from Syracuse.
I think the Reds win no matter what.
No matter what happens, regardless of score.
Buffalo scored more points.
No. It's
Not
a
no more.
learning experience. They win no matter what. I'm just kidding with you, Todd.
Yeah.
You know I love you.
Brandon in Buffalo. All right, let's get one more.
Now
weather-
we can find out what the weather
Yeah,
is
let's
like.
get a
in
real
Buffalo.
live report from Brandon.
Brandon, we've been dying to find out what's the weather like there. Is it windy?
You're not too far in the bag yet, are you?
Yeah. How far are you from the stadium?
I'm pretty far away. It's because the stadium is in Orchard Park, and we're in Buffalo, New York.
Ah, okay.
I'll forget it.
Never mind. Oh no, what'd you have
I
on the
will
game?
have
What'd
no
you have
idea
on
what the weather is like.
What'd you have on the game, Brandon?
My team is the Patriots, and I think they're going to win.
I'm just curious as to why. Do you have any specific reason why the Patriots win
The
tonight?
defense is great, like every year it is. Everybody keeps downing the Patriots defense every year. It's always been in the top 10.
Who's doubted the
Great.
Patriots defense this year? It was supposed to be the strength
Sorry.
of the team.
Every year, people down the Patriots defense,
Okay.
and it's
Every year,
always
Paul.
great every year.
Yeah, well, it sucked last year, but this year no one doubted the Patriots defense because they had all of these guys coming back. They had Hightower coming back. They re-signed Van Noy. They signed Matthew Judon.
Right.
People thought this
But
was
I'm
going to.
saying-
People thought this was going to be a top 3 defense, and it,
Right.
by the way,
But
has been.
everybody keep downing Devin McCourty and J.C. Jackson.
Who's
and
like
when Stephon Gilmore was here?
These are the calls that I can't do.
Everybody downs this defense like they're not a good team.
I say a lot of
And then
stupid
they
stuff,
come
and I
out
deserve a lot of criticism for the stupid stuff that I say. I never said the Patriots defense wasn't good.
Brandon-
and I never said the Patriots defense every year sucked.
Brandon, I'm with you. People have doubted Devin McCourty and Bill Belichick's ability to coach a defense, and they're not.
You know
doing
what
it.
else they doubted? You know what else they doubted? They doubted the
This- this
Patriots'
was
ability
from last week
to
that-
not allow 30 points in a
that-
game. No one ever
that
thought they
got
could do
last
that.
week. There wasn't a cornerback that wasn't good. Devin McCourty was a cornerback before he became a safety.
Right.
Yeah, and he sucked.
He was a great cornerback.
Great.
No, he wasn't.
Became a great safety.
Well, Bill Belichick would disagree with you on that. That's why he changed him from
Well,
cornerback to safety.
If you look at his stats,
I know what his stats say.
He had 5 interceptions, and
As a
when
rookie.
he was a cornerback in 2011.
And the next year, year, they made him a safety because he was picked on
Right.
constantly.
Right.
Right. And I remember
still-
specifically a Sunday night game in Baltimore that was an absolute
Right.
disaster.
Yeah, he was even better at safety.
He's been a Pro Bowl safety.
Right. Almost every year.
Well, also not true, but that's okay.
Brandon, I appreciate the call. I'm with you. I'm tired of people doubting this team. They are no one ever gives them a chance, especially defensively.
What was your preseason record for the Patriots this year, just out of curiosity, Hardy?
I think I had them at
12. I think you had them at 11 wins.
Who, me?
Yeah, I do.
I picked the Patriots to win 11 games this year?
Did you not? I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I had
Fred
them
had him 11 or 12.
I had him
I think you had him 9 or 10. I had him 9 or 10.
I had him at
And here they are at 8, and suddenly they're like just defying the world. Like no one thought they could win any games.
I think I had them at 9 and 8 because I thought the additions, even with the rookie quarterback, I said the additions should be good for 2 more wins than you got last year. That was it. I put them at 9 and 8.
Yeah.
But I don't know. 9.
Plus, there's 17 games this year. So I mean, there's a lot of math in this whole thing.
Oh God, it's shoosh way downtown. All right. Do you want to do the over-unders now, there, Mr. Morrell?
Oh,
It's time
that's
for
a yes.
this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Now let's talk about what happened last week and where we stand for the season. What do we got?
All right.
Did I catch you off guard?
No, my microphone got caught and distracted.
You're the
for
one
a
who's
second.
screaming at me to get to the over-unders, and
All right, last week, Hardy and Mike both went 4-2. Paul 3-3.
Nice.
Bringing us on the season totals: Paul 40-32, Mike 37-35, Hardy 28-44.
Wow, that's that is an ugly number, but
to get you.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You've got a chance. I'm rooting now just to watch a good game happening in front of me between you two. So what do we got this week?
Mac Jones passing yards 201.5.
We start with you, Deuce.
Oh, I mean, I guess there's weather. I really don't know what to expect. I'm watching the warm-ups. It doesn't really seem that crazy to me in the warm-ups, but I'm still going to go under for Mac in the passing yards.
Paul?
I'm going to fall into the weather trap, and I'm going to say under.
I mean, it's just ridiculous to try and talk yourself into it. Well, if a screen
400
pass,
yards.
yeah, just glorified run game. No, under. We're all going under.
Damian Harris touchdown at a half. Will he score tonight?
Hey, will Damian Harris score a touchdown? Yes or no? Paul?
I'll say yes. I think it's a ground game. I think he's a good candidate to get a touchdown if they get down close.
You gotta say yes. You have to say yes.
You don't have to.
I'm going to.
You could say yes or no.
Deuce is gonna say no.
I'm just gonna say no to be different.
Yeah, good.
Because
Good
we've
for you.
all been on the same page here, and
Right.
let's spice it up a little.
Okay, let's have some fun.
Jacoby Myers receiving yards 42.5.
I am going under for 42.5 for Jacoby. It's a lot of yards for anybody on a night like this.
I feel good. I'm gonna go over.
Wow.
Jacoby.
Paul's going under.
I have to go under because I'm listening to all of these people telling me that Armageddon is taking place in Orchard Park.
Adrian Phillips total tackles 5.5.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that line, and I think he's going to be real active tonight. So I'm going to say over. I think he leads the team, perhaps.
Total tackles. All right, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over, too. Again, playing the weather. I think there's going to be a lot of run plays that the safeties are going to have to beat around the line of scrimmage.
So you guys are playing the weather. You're playing the game. I'm playing the man, and you're the man, and you're the man. I'm going under.
The man behind the man.
Show some Buffalo some love. Josh Allen rushing yards 35.5.
Oh.
That's you, Paul.
I will take the over on that because I think, first of all, I think that's probably right around his average per game. But, again, I'm playing the weather.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just I'm gonna go under anyway. I think they're gonna have to incorporate more guys into the run game tonight. Both teams, and Josh, any one person's stats are gonna be low tonight.
I'm going to go over just to give myself a little bit of a silver lining when he does rush that I won't lose my mind ×2 if I had bet the under. So I'm going to go over.
You're going over. Okay.
And wrapping up with the total as we always do, 40.5.
Under. Pound the under on 40.5. That's a low number for a total, and I'm still going under. Deuce?
Yeah, I'm going to go under 2. I got to.
Yeah, I have to amend my pick and go under.
Okay, that's fine. You can do that. I mean, circumstances have changed. That is obvious.
I don't know if it's going to end up playing out that way, but I'm going to have a terrible night of over-unders if it doesn't.
We'll get to our pick for the game here in a couple minutes. I want to grab a couple of these emails first, though. 80% running, says Aaron Moore in Wales, because of the weather. Do you guys think we will run it over or under 80% of the plays tonight? Offensive plays, 80% run. That's the total.
Right now, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it's being made out to be. I
All
think
right.
there will be some challenging kicks from a distance going a certain way, but otherwise, I'm not really convinced that the short to intermediate passing game is going to be affected.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see 80%. That's a high number. It won't be that many.
Bart is in Poland. He says the game starts at 2 a.m. in Poland, and the next couple of days are going to suck. It looks like the weather sucks there, too, so hope for a big Stevenson-Harris day. Also worried about Folk. Hope he has a 2002 Vinatieri form tonight. We'll see a lot of punting and a lot of going for it on fourth down. Think we'll see a lot of going for it on fourth down tonight?
Not any more so than normal.
Okay.
I don't think.
I don't know. I mean,
I think the field position, like, if you're going to tell me there's going to be a lot of fourth and less than threes from, like, plus side, yeah, I'll say they'll go for fourth downs instead of kicking field goals. But, I just think that would be the normal course of action.
Yeah.
Ramon is in Tampa, says, before I get to my question, where's Paul's Patriots gear?
He's representing the Fenwick today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a requirement that we wear Patriots gear.
Right.
No, sometimes I feel a little bit, are we supposed to, are we not? Does it matter?
I always feel like we're not supposed to, but I don't know that for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
But we were given Vineyard Vines Patriots gear to wear one year.
Because at the time, Vineyard Vines was a sponsor.
Okay, but I'm saying it wasn't a problem then.
No, but that's why we were wearing it.
I don't understand. It's a Patriots pregame show. We're not allowed to wear Patriots
I
gear?
didn't say you weren't allowed.
Yeah, you kind of said we're not supposed to.
I feel like we're not supposed to. I feel like we're supposed to be impartial journalists.
Oh. All right. Take it off then. I could have worn my Lions hoodie.
I thought you were going to.
I thought for
I
sure
saw
he
you
was-
had it on
I
today
thought for
on
sure
the
he
show.
was going
I was
to
like,
also.
Now
that's
that
gonna
would have been a
make an
problem.
appearance.
Not for me, it would have been, but
No.
maybe someone else might have taken offense.
All right. Should I fear Mac's noodle arm? I have my doubts about his arm tonight, especially being his first real weather test. Again, Ramona in Tampa. I don't think he has a noodle arm. I just think that it's not as strong as maybe he gets credit for sometimes. Paul, I know you feel that way.
I don't think he has the strongest arm in the world, but from what I've seen so far, it's strong enough.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
That's how I would put it too. I do think there's been some concerning throws in specific sections of the field, specifically up the seams. And I think when we look back at this first season, I feel like that's going to be an area that we look at. And not to say that that's directly correlates with arm strength, but I think those are the throws that he's had some problems with. And we started to notice it in camp. People started to get hands on a lot of those seam passes. And you've seen it in recent weeks too. I mean, I think a lot of times going up the seam, it's a little dicey with him. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think he's got enough juice. I think he's got enough anticipation. But we'll see today with this. If there is some wind, we'll see how he looks cutting it through, especially on the short stuff.
Sam is in Israel. He said, if the Patriots win tonight, what are the chances? And I don't think he means this mathematically or scheduling. It's just, what are the chances with a win tonight? The Patriots get the bye week or number 1 seed.
I don't know what the percentage is, but really strong.
I would say really strong too. I mean, if you win this game, in addition to being 9-4 and rattling off 7 straight wins, you win a tough game against a tough opponent on the road Monday night. They're just all things trend toward the Patriots really if not running the table, putting themselves in a position that is much better than the other teams who have had their drop-offs. And the Patriots haven't looked good all season, but they're racking up wins. And with a win tonight, 7 straight, you'd be foolish to kind of not like their chances.
To me,
of
the
getting
big
both.
thing is you get a leg up in the division, and now the other team has to beat you in your place.
Yes.
Yeah.
To displace you.
And, I mean, to beat them again, you'd probably feel good. I mean, we'll see how this looks. But, as much as I am admiring what Jonathan Taylor is doing for the Colts, I tend to think in that game that the Patriots are going to say, you're not going to beat us, and, put the game in Carson Wentz's hands. So I think those are the two big challenges. Those are two good teams that could, certainly the Bills could win here, and they could lose to the Colts again. But you got to like their chances right now. They win this one. They're sitting in the driver's seat for it, and that's pretty amazing.
Luke in Maine says, boo, man cave for days. If only Andy was here, he would set you straight on the man cave. The biggest fake man there ever was, Andy Hart. I've got a screenshot of myself in the stands as Gostowski taps in the extra point over the Bills. Where am I going to put that? The kitchen, man cave, go Pats. P.S. I like you guys. All right. Look, that's a nice photo. Put it on your desk. I don't know. You need to hang it. You have a poster size. Yeah, you have multiple shots like this. They need to go in a separate room.
Hardo. Yeah. I'm lucky, Hardy. You mentioned it. My wife put my office together, and she did a fantastic job just putting it all together. Like, I didn't do anything. She took all my stupid stuff that I have, mostly personal items, but you got to just have an office. It's nice.
That's how I would look at it. Like, it doesn't have to be a man cave. Like, so you have pictures of the Patriots? Like, why can't you put those? I kind of play your side of the street now, Hardy. Like,
yeah.
What all the rooms in your house are just for your wife? Like, I can't have anything that I want on the walls?
But this is also a little bit of jealousy on my part for people who have, like, oodles of downtime. Well, I just need a place to hang out and kill a few hours.
Right.
Watch the game, drink some beers, maybe play a little foosball.
Call of Duty for 9 hours.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I don't have any desire.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't have that in my life. I don't know anybody who's married and has kids who you have that? You have just tons of time to fill up.
Sorry, I became Mrs. Doubtfire there for a second.
No, I didn't. Don't know what that was, but it was troubling. It was upsetting.
Sander in Germany, thank you for checking in. Also, we've got Paul. Oh, by the way, this is George in Virginia. Says Paul saying Mike Tomlin was being a little bitch will warm any Patriots fans on a cold night.
That was a bitchy comment.
That was a little bitchy comment. I like Mike Tomlin.
I like Mike Tomlin a lot. And I've really come around on him because early in his career, I thought he was kind of a clown. I didn't really, he spoke in like these kinds of cliches all the time. But I've really come to respect him a lot as a coach. And listen, to be around that long and have that much sustained success is not easy to do. And he hasn't won the Super Bowl 6 times like Belichick and Brady did, but he's been pretty good for a long time.
And he's had to deal with a fair number of knuckleheads.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was a big turning point for Paul when he was with Antonio Brown, and Paul was like, how did Mike Tomlin
do that?
I don't know. Long?
I don't know. But I did like the way he handled the questions about him taking a coaching job in college.
Which I didn't care for that either.
You didn't care for that?
Like, you're not allowed to ask him questions that everybody else gets asked?
Could you imagine? I think I don't know what coach he mentioned, but he said, would you ask?
Sean Payton. If Sean Payton's name was thrown into one of those jobs, you don't think the New Orleans media would ask him about it?
I don't know that they would.
Of course they would.
All right.
Of course they would.
Okay. Well, then I'm wrong and
Just
you're
like
right.
when Nick Saban was the coach of the Dolphins, they asked him about it because his name was brought up constantly.
Yeah, but he sucked as an NFL coach.
But the point being, when your name is in the rumor mill, is being tied to a job, you're going to get asked about it.
I can see where Tomlin felt a little disrespected by the question, and he shut it down.
Oh, I have no problem that he shut it down. That part of the answer I liked. The follow-up, I don't think there was an insinuation as to why you wouldn't ask another guy about that, and I didn't agree with it.
All right, here we go.
Put it that way.
It's a one pack. It is what comes in a pack of one?
Candy bar.
A whatchamacallit.
A whatchamacallit. So whatchamacallit one pack, because who would ever want more than one? Who would want one to begin with? Much less more than one whatchamacallit.
Tastes like sawdust.
All right, Oh, by the way, where are we on the season?
All right. Last week, Mike went 5-1. Hardy 4-2. Paul 3-3. Season totals: Hardy 40-27.
Oh,
10-game
Paul
lead.
33-34. Mike, 30 and 37.
All right, so what do we got tonight, gentlemen?
You got that pretty much clinched.
No, not yet.
There's only 4 weeks left. There's only one game this week. You only have 4 weeks left.
No, it's not clinched. Don't you dare say that.
Right?
Buffalo -3.
All right, Buffalo laying 3 points tonight. What do you think, Deuce?
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the week I was predicting kind of a high 20s scoreboard, Patriots by 1 or 2. I got to go with the Pats. I will take them by slightly more than 3. I'm going to say like 17-13, I think.
Okay.
Who are you picking?
Patriots. Low-scoring game. I think they just tough it out.
Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots as well. I originally had 27-24. I'm going to shorten that down to 16-13 just because I think the weather will have an impact.
I'm taking the Patriots as well, so obviously I don't even need your 3 points.
It's Buffalo's favorite.
Yeah, I'm not. Take your 3 points. I'll take Pats on the money line. They're going to win this one 8-6. Mark it down.
So we're all the Patriots.
Hey, everybody, thank you for listening and watching. We'll talk to you in the post game.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.